I thought they'd lose last week and probably win this week, like a few weeks ago. I didn't have the courage to pick them once they won last week. I knew they couldn't do 2 back-to-back. It just seemed improbable. I had problems.
I know the NFL's wacky, but I'm going to just pick right now. I'm picking the Saints against the Redskins next week.
It'd be very hard to pick the Redskins.
Well, the way they're playing.
I'm going to go on record.
But it would take another effort the way they did against Seattle.
Yeah.
But I think what really surprised me was, and I remember Cakes and I doing pregame yesterday from Tyson's Beer Garden, and I remember a couple callers saying when we were taking calls for predictions, 35-17. There was one guy, I think, who said 38-30.
Right, blowout city.
Which was a score. I laughed. I was like, this is not going to be a high-scoring game.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming
really
either.
Good defenses.
I thought it'd be like a 21-17, 21-14 type of game.
Yeah, 28-17 the half.
Yeah.
If you score 30 points, you should win.
You should win.
You know?
At home, especially.
They're putting themselves in a position where they're going to have to run the table.
Yeah,
because they'll probably lose to New Orleans. And then they have 6 winnable games, but they're not consistent enough to win 6 in a row. I mean, they've done it in years past, like a miracle, but that's what it would take. It would take another miracle.
Right.
So
not impossible, but uphill battle.
Yeah. Huge.
And
now, due theory, New Orleans is due for a dud.
New Orleans is due. I agree.
Yeah, but you know what they're also due to do? Give the ball to Kamara and Ingram 45 times and jam it on the Redskins right down their throat, which is what they did to the Bills yesterday.
The Skins better be ready for a little run defense.
Yeah,
maybe the Skins will play a little better because they'll expect more. You know, maybe they just kind of slept on Minnesota's offense and Case Keenum a little bit, you know, subconsciously. I'm sure they prepared for him as much as they can.
Or maybe they'll have good practices on Friday.
There are comments about practices. Maybe we can get to that. DJ Swearinger, who has become one of the leaders on this team, one of the few guys on defense who actually did something. Although I don't think he had a good first half, but in the second half he had the back-to-back interceptions.
He was non-existent in the first half.
I mean, nobody. I mean, remember how many guys we talked about last week in the Seattle game? We were talking about the great play from Fuller, from Compton, from D'Angelo Hall, from different guys on the defensive line. Can't really do that yesterday.
No, here's what I saw. I saw Josh Norman have his worst game as a Redskin. I can't speak to what he did prior to coming here. I saw Brashad Breeland struggle. I saw D. Hall look slow. Saw Kendall Fuller having to play out of position, play safety. I saw Terrell Pryor targeted 0 times.
You saw their defensive line get dominated.
Why didn't they ship him off to the Browns when the Browns showed interest? I don't know what's going on there.
I literally would have sold him for a bag of Doritos.
But Adam Thielen finishes with 8 catches for $166 and a score. Stephon Diggs, 4 catches, 78 yards. They also ran for 102 yards.
Well, another thorn in the Redskins' side, and this has been a theme all season, quarterbacks hurting them outside of the pocket. Keenum did it yesterday. He got outside the pocket. He was 6 for 8 and threw 3 touchdowns when he was flush from the pocket.
Right.
The Redskins just can't contain guys who have mobility. And Keenum, you can goof on him all you want. And I'm not saying he's a Pro Bowler by any stretch, but he was effective yesterday.
He played a really good game.
Yeah.
Yep.
He wasn't pressured a ton. I was impressed, though. He has really good pocket presence. Like when there were guys around him, he still kind of hangs in there, subtle moves, and throws down the field. He's been sacked 5 season long. So a combination of the offensive line and Case Keenum and quick passing.
I'm going to hate on him a little bit. I'm going to hate on him a little bit in the sense I thought he was just throwing some out there. And some of them happen to be dimes, but he just kind of lofted them perfectly. I give him credit. I don't know that he can continue to do that week after week.
Well, that's just how he throws.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Kirk needs at times. I mean, Kirk, the pass to Josh Doxson, he overthrows it. He needs to put more air on it.
Right. Well, he threw a great one to Maurice Harris, though.
Yeah.
So, no, you're right. That's Cousins' flaw on his deep balls. He throws it too flat. But I just thought there were a couple times where Keenum just threw it to a spot. I give him credit. He did it perfectly, but I don't know if he could continue to do that week after week.
So Josh Norman's actually had a couple of bad weeks in terms of when teams have thrown at him. They just generally don't throw at him because when they make their game plan, they go, are we going to go at Josh Norman or are we going to go at Brashad Breeland? We're going to go at Breeland.
He got beat on that double move by Diggs yesterday. The Thielen long pass, I don't know if that was on him because Everett.
No, that wasn't on him. They were playing sides of the field.
That was Everett.
But he got beaten on the Thielen touchdown. Yeah, now, that's a tough play.
It's a really tough play.
Keenum zipping it in there.
Well, they also collectively got killed
right on his hands.
Underneath stuff where Thielen and whoever it was would catch the ball 5 yards in front of the first down, and we couldn't make a tackle. And that happened numerous times. So we couldn't tackle. We couldn't cover. They scored 5 touchdowns on their first 6 possessions. Kirk had a bad interception. He missed some guys. That's a recipe for a disaster.
Couldn't run the ball.
If you give up, I will say this right now. You won't find another game this year where a team gives up 5 touchdowns in their first 6 possessions and they win. It ain't going to happen.
Well, find games where teams allow 38 points and win.
Yeah.
I mean, those numbers are very small.
Cakes, they gave up 35 points in 2 quarters and 2.5 minutes.
I know. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Yes.
You were 2.5 minutes into the third quarter, and they giving up 35 points.
They did whatever they wanted offensively.
Yeah.
But
generally speaking,
in the passing game, there's no clear number 1 guy to go to unless it's Vernon Davis.
Right.
I mean, they just don't have a clear receiver that he can bank on. Most teams do.
I think 22 out of 45 targets yesterday were to Vernon Davis and Jamison Crowder.
They haven't sniffed 100 rushing yards in a game since week 5 when they had 94 total.
Yeah, there's just a lot of deficiencies.
They haven't even come close.
A lot of deficiencies.